Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Our Ventura. I'm your host, Gabriel, and today I have a very special guest. This is the woman who traveled the world with Mother Teresa. She lives here locally, and when they put it in the paper, they called her Local Housewife Sings at Funeral of a Saint. And I have something dear to my heart because she's my mom. Please welcome my mom, Marlene Elias, the lady who's the local person who travels the world with Mother Teresa. Welcome, Mom.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And this is a special time because Mother Teresa seems to have woven her way in and out of our lives throughout the years.
Yes.
And on a funny note, we are known as the Lucy and Ethel of Ventura. So, and of course you're Lucy. And I'm Ethel. So
that's all right.
But no, on a solemn note, this Mother Teresa, meeting Mother Teresa, traveling the world with her, writing songs. Please tell us all about it.
Well, I first met Mother through my brother, who was a missionary. He was going to give a retreat in Calcutta. And I begged him to take me. Please take me, I want to meet Mother Teresa. So he did take me. He called her, and she said, by all means, bring your sister and she will stay with me. I almost fainted when she said I would stay with her, but when I first met her, I couldn't speak. She would, you know you're standing in the presence of a saint, and I just couldn't talk. And she met us at the airport, lifted our luggage, threw them on an old battered truck that she picked us up with, and I remember her jumping over the luggage after she helped us put it in, and she sat right next to me. And my brother was riding on the other, seated on the other side of this truck, and he looked at Mother Teresa and he said, Mother Teresa, this is the longest my sister's ever gone without speaking. So that was our beginning. And for 10 years, I was able to be in her presence, to work with her. We corresponded, we wrote to each other, and she was #1 on my speed dial.
That's hilarious.
So one Christmas, I'll never forget it, I knew Mother Teresa, her schedules. So when it's morning here, it's evening in Calcutta. So it was Christmas, so I had to call her, tell her Merry Christmas. So I called her up and I said, Mother, Merry Christmas. And she said, oh, Marlene, I was just going to call you. And I can't help it, I imitate her voice. And I said, why, Mother? I said, it's Christmas, you didn't have to call me. You knew I would call you. She said, no, no, I have a favor for you. I said, okay, what is it, Mother? And she said, I want you to call Mrs. Clinton at the White House and ask her how the plans are going for a home for unwed mothers. So I just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. And I said, Mother, I'm a housewife. I live in Ventura County. I don't know the president. I don't know anybody. She says, you can do. And when she used to tell me that, I knew I had to. So I called the White House through people that got me through. I got the private secretary. And before you know it, a conversation was going daily, and your dad said, Marlene, it's the White House. I thought, who am I? Why is this happening to me? But I was involved in the whole situation, and I sang at the dedication of that house for unwed mothers, and Hillary Clinton was the person that got it donated to Mother Teresa.
There she is. There's Hillary.
There's Mother.
There's Mother.
And
they were in the audience, and then Mother hopped
No, she was the speaker.
Then here's you.
I was singing at the dedication,
at the dedication.
And I gave Mother a gift of a monstrance and a chalice that day.
Well, the thing is, Hillary Clinton wanted it to be something else, and Mother Teresa talked her into having it be the home for the unwed mothers.
And so that worked out. That was one of the things she told me, you can do, you can do. But what I loved most about her was her humility and her total love for these beautiful people that are so poor. I mean, they live in the streets, literally. When I would walk with her day by day, we'd look down at the ground and see people dying as we were walking. And she used to do this every day. So just the thought of her, one day we were going and a baby was found in the garbage.
Oh.
And they brought the baby in and took care of it. And she looked at me and she said, you know, we took care of this baby, we got medicine, and it's eating now properly, we're taking care of it, but she said if they don't get hugs, they will die.
Oh.
So I started a hug campaign.
That's so cute.
But she has volunteers come in and hug the little children, and I thought, imagine what just a hug can do to these poor, unfortunate people. When they used to see her coming, their eyes would light up, their face would light up, and they loved the hugs, because they would start hugging her then, you know. So she said they need hugs, and when the little children at the orphanage would see her come in, scattering from one end to the other, rushing to her and glomming onto her.
Aww.
They were like Velcro. She couldn't walk. So finally she said she would talk to each one, give them a little, she'd rub their little tummies, and she'd say, I love you, I love you. And one little guy wouldn't get off, and she said, later, later, later.
Oh.
So one of the volunteers came and took the little child, but the joy she brought amidst all the suffering, it was incredible.
Well, I'm going to show this picture.
Yes.
You stayed with her so many times.
Yes.
And this picture actually is Mother Teresa opening the door to the beggar. And you are standing right behind her with an Instamatic that didn't have a flash. This light coming out of Mother Teresa is her light.
Yes.
Opening the door. And that was an inspiration for you to make an album called Inspirations, about all your travels and love with Mother.
Oh, yes.
And that
And
beggar picture on
Yes.
the cover
Yes. And that's what
of the album.
Yeah, so that will place a prominent place in my book that I'm writing.
There's so many stories.
Yes.
And you know, this is just an, you know,
That's in Tijuana.
Tijuana. She has houses for taking care of people all over the world.
750 places around the world.
750
Yes.
places.
That little tiny lady herself went and opened up. And my brother was with her
Amazing.
one time. She was in Albania. And he said Mother Teresa was there looking for a place to stay. So she was with the communist leader there. And he was showing her different places, and she kept picking out this one place. That's the one I want. He said, Mother, that's where my officers have to stay, the heads of state and all that. And she said, but I like that. It's perfect for my poor. And my brother said by the end of the day, he was howling laughing, and he said, out comes all these dignitaries coming out of there with suitcases. And he gave Mother Teresa that place. But she had a way of getting what she needed, trusting that God would get it for her. She never doubted.
Well, there's a lot of other things that went on behind the scenes. I was deathly ill.
Yes.
And that was before anybody knew what Lyme disease was.
Right.
And this was in the 90s, and I was in and out of a coma, and I was dying, and I had my will made out, and I remember you were so sad. And Mother Teresa called and said, you're not going to die from this, you may have a rough time, but your words and your wisdom with this new epidemic are going to save hundreds of thousands of lives.
Isn't that something?
This was in the 90s.
Yes.
Now, it's, you know, this time now in the 2012.
And you're still here.
I have outlived every other Lyme disease person that I started up with, and I'm known in Southern California as the longest surviving Lyme disease person.
Yes.
And I've turned it into a nonprofit type of thing where I help other people.
I know.
And I invented Lyme disease coaching.
Yes.
So it's Lyme literate health coaching to other people who have this disease that doctors yet don't even know enough about.
I know.
And Mother Teresa's words were prophetic, and they are true. And I remember telling her, Mother, I think I love you. And she's like, don't think you love me, just love me. And then there was my dad. The poor man was very sick towards the end, and he was about ready to have surgery to lose both of his legs.
Yes.
And this is my dad with Mother Teresa dancing the polka
With Mother.
before he was going to have his legs removed.
That's amazing.
And everybody was so happy that day, and who would ever believe this?
I know.
And then, of course, when she did pass away, It was in her will that she wanted you to sing at her funeral. And here you are in India, in Calcutta, singing at Mother's funeral. And this has inspired you to write a book. What's the name of the book?
It's called Adventures with Mother Teresa, One Woman's Journey. And it's full of beautiful things that I shared with her, some sad and some very funny. She was hilarious. People didn't realize that she really and truly was a funny lady. And I have pictures of her slapping her knee. She was laughing so hard. And I captured it on film. And I remember one night she brought my brother to the hotel where I was staying, because the reason I went to a hotel, one of the nuns had given up her little iron cot for me to sleep in. And I found out she was outside sleeping on the steps.
Aww.
And I said, Mother, I can't do this. So find me somewhere close by and I'll come every day. So that's what happened. So one night she brought my brother over. She said, I think you must take your brother for an American meal somewhere. She said, I don't think he's too crazy about all this Indian food, but he never complains, she said. So that night we laughed until our sides were hurting. We laughed so hard when she was there.
You just don't think of this.
You don't, nobody thinks of it. And that night too, I have a picture of her looking at me as I'm sitting there, and she told me many things that were for my heart to hear.
Aww.
And I think that moment was what changed my entire life for the good. I mean, it's not that it was bad or anything. It's just that I finally got to the realization, why are we here?
Right.
And she taught me that. We're here to help one another.
No.
And she said, the poorest of the poor, I love them. She made up her mind that she would, till the day she died, she would help the poor people. And talk about, you know, your Lyme disease. Well, she was dealing with leprosy.
Yes.
And many of her patients, most of them, had leprosy and they were dying. And there was one little girl in there that was a leper the day I was at the place where she had the special people that were found on the street dying, and she'd bring them in. There was this little girl covered from her head to her toe with leper sores, open wounds. And daily I would, like when I walked in the streets and helping them, I'd carry granola bars. I took a whole bunch with me when I went, and I would give them to the children. So I thought, how am I going to go over to this child? And I watched Mother Teresa as she was working. She never thought about herself getting sick when she would touch the lepers and hug them.
Aww.
And I said, please give me the grace, God, to do this. And that's what happened. So she's been with me ever since. When I touched that girl, my life changed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, to bring this around to a local spin, because we're almost out of time.
Okay.
Joanna Spinks has been doing the face of Ventura.
Yes.
And different portraits, and she chose us as the mother-daughter, Ethel and Lucy of Ventura. And because we go around and we do talks and
Yes.
sing and inspirational, motivational things for the community all the time. And she chose us as her only mother-daughter portrait for the face of Ventura. And we decided to wear the same clothes that we did in the portrait. And this will be out soon. And I'm just honored that she picked us to do this.
And she told me she put a special little light. Tell her about that.
Yes, the light above your head was because while she was painting the portrait, she said she felt Mother Teresa's light all around you.
Yes.
Well, this show is over.
I can't believe it either.
And I would like you to tell the people your website so they can get a hold of you.
Yes, all it is Mother Teresa and me.com. All
real
small
easy.
letters, yeah. Mother Teresa, A-N-D, and Teresa spelled T-E-R-E-S-A.
MotherTeresaandme.com.
That's the
and
website.
And the name of your book, Adventures with Mother Teresa.
One Woman's Journey.
One Woman's Journey.
Yeah.
And at this date, you're still looking for a publisher.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So.
Well, thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucy. And thank you for joining us today for another edition of Our Ventura. I'm Annie Gabriel, your host. And thanks to Marlene Elias, my mom. And everybody have a wonderful week and a wonderful month. Peace.